Okay, with a bit of luck, we should be back. I'm going to ask one of Smido or SD to speak.
Hello and good evening.
And then she said...
Yeah, she said, yeah.
Right, if somebody in the chat can give us a thumbs up that you've got some audios. Nice to see Pete. Nice to see the doubles and trebles community just having a natter in the chat while we're having the technical issues as well. Lovely to see. All good, says Stephen Burke. Cheers, Berkey. Right, we'll crack on then, Adam. I teed you up for the first at Goodwood. Down to 11 runners, and you've got quite a strong fancy, quite a few strong fancies, but start us off with the first, please.
Well, Pieman, I have got my mojo back a little bit this week. I fancy a few, but it's always very, very dangerous and rarely successful when I fancy ones at short prices. Stop moving around, SD.
Sorry, I'm just getting apparently we need a bit of light.
Anyway, the 150 at Goodwood, Pieman. I fancy Daneh. He is going to be favourite. He should be favourite, and I think he'll win. Considered good enough to contest a French Group 3 on just his second start. He missed a break quite badly in that race, but wasn't out of touch. He was still in touch with the pack. Took a while to get a clear run, even though it was a smallish field at Deauville. And when he did, the winner was gone. But if you watch the replay, I think this Daneh he just looked the best horse despite not winning. If you would have backed him, you'd have been disappointed. I didn't on the day, but I am backing him on Saturday. I think Hello You sets a decent enough standard, more than decent. He's rated 101. Or should I say she, rated 101, and has been 2.5 lengths or less behind Sandrine on each of her last 3 starts. Sandrine is a very good yardstick, Group 2 winner as a 2-year-old this year. So Hello You is a good form line, but I just think this Daneh, bred out the purple really. Dubarwi out of her Group 1 winner. I think Resina won the Coronation Stakes. I think me and Hump were there that year. She won. So, I just think Daneh at 100 to 30 currently. I think you can get 100 to 30 or 7 to 2. There's a fair few in the could be anything category. Miss Ensign, Tinderbox, and particularly Clitheroe. So I won't be going nuts on this selection, but yes, hopefully Daneh will be starting my day with a winner at 7 to 2.
7 to 2. Daneh then setting the standards for Smido. He's keen on the favourite. Don't say that too much on this channel. Smido keen on favourites, but we'll see how that pans out. You can probably see on the right of your screen, SD is flicking on and off camera. What that means is he's checking his notes and form to bring you the winners. Now, do you agree with Adam in his first race, SD? You're on mute.
Yes.
Oh, no, you're not.
Yes, I do. I think he's got it absolutely bang on. Look, he was going on about French Group 3s. I could win a French Group 3, honestly. They're awful races. But she did blow the start, didn't she? Look, it was a very impressive run first time up, and she does need to start better, but that's almost built into the price. You've got this Hello You, which is, for me, has gone slightly backwards on its last 3 starts every time it runs. And you've got the likes of Clitheroe, which will be a complete hostage to fortune under Spencer. You can just see what's going to happen with Spencer on this. Tinderbox could be anything. There's a few could be anythings, but it's a fairly high standard for Daneh, and I think she's a bet, and she's probably a bet at anything over 5 to 2 for me. So the 7 to 2 at the moment, yeah, she's a decent bet.
There you go then. 2 votes for Daneh, decent bet at 7 to 2. An agreement from the panel, which is not all that common, I must say. Just before we go to Beverley, SD, I believe you're going there this weekend, and you were on mute earlier when you were telling us about it. Where are you staying over this weekend?
Oh, I'm in Bridlington. So if anybody knows in the chat of any nice bars in Bridlington, now I'm taking the missus, so we don't want, strict poker or topless darts or anything like that. Perfectly convivial evening to get drunk at. So any tourist recommendations for Bridlington are greatly received, because I think I last went there in about 1994, the day after I actually went to Beverley, and it was, yes. So there you go.
I'll tell you right now, we've got double figures in the live stream at the moment, so surely somebody can give us some kind of recommendation. where we
I'll
should
just
be going
say
at
on the
Bridlington.
chat, in regards to Bridlington, which is in not the north of Yorkshire, I believe, we've got Brendan's from Newcastle, so no hope there. Hump spends more time in Paris than he does in Yorkshire. Burke is a Scouser. Lee Jones is Welsh. Andrew Jones is from the Midlands. And Centre Circle Podcast is from Wolverhampton. So I don't think we're going to get any feedback in regards to Bridlington, but we could live in hope.
And I tell you what, though, we've got all bases covered for the rest of the country, haven't we? Yeah, I mean, what a far-flung audience. Fantastic stuff. Going to move over
and
to
you're stuck
Beverley.
in Kent.
Yeah, without a race course, yeah. Although I might get over to Lingers sooner rather than later. And I was eyeing up Sandown at the weekend, but that fell apart, unfortunately. Right, 205, Beverley, Silver Cup, handicap. And we're down to 7 runners here by the looks of it. So each way angle gone. Who wants to take this one first? Not Smido. SD, over to you.
Right.
Barn Owl 5 to 2 fab as we stand.
Right, I like this race, I have to say, because there's more holes in some of them than a piece of Swiss cheese. Now you've got Titan, which hasn't run for 309 days. You've March Law, that's not run for 418 days. They're certainly not my cup of Darjeeling. And you've got this Barn Owl, which ran all right at Ripon last time, but it was. To be fair, it was over 12 furlongs. We're back to just short of 10 today, and it's a favourite to take on there. I'll give you one here, and I wish there was. I know you're not allowed to call jockeys nowadays, and I'm not for 1 second calling him, but I'm just saying I would prefer to have a different jockey on. But Life on the Rocks run a decent race. Watch it back at Ripon last time. This thing palpably did not handle the track 1 iota. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago about horses not handling Ripon. This thing definitely didn't. And at the prices, he's very much of interest. Now, he's only rated 76. It was a fair race at Ripon last time. I don't think this is much stronger, despite the apparent step up in class. And yes, he's very much a bet, and he's one of the much better bets of the weekend. And I think you can get 7 to 1 in the village. If you're lucky enough to have a Denise account, that's with a bog. So piling.
Yeah, 7 to 1 is certainly available in 5 places as we speak in front of me on this fine Thursday evening, and there is a little bit of blue around for it as well. So some people perhaps are flocking straight to back SD's fancy. Have you got anything to add on that race, Smido? Or are you happy to just lean with the selection there?
Nothing to add. I think SD's made a really quite a strong case there.
I'm convinced.
It's a betting race because you can take on those two. One of them, which is the right up there, the top of the market, that have had long breaks. And I didn't like the profile of that favourite either. So yeah, SD's put up a good argument. I wouldn't go against him.
And let's be honest, 5 to 2, the 5 10 to 1, the outsider. You've got to be having a play in that kind of event, haven't you? I think. But right, we'll move it on again. If you don't have anything to add there, Smido, and I'm going to move it on back over to Goodwood for a handicap 225. Do keep your selections coming in the chat and your insight, by the way. Always good to hear what you think on these races. 225 at Goodwood, which I will just load up in front of me now and give you a rundown of the prices. So we have Aratus in there at 5 to 2. Dance Fever is 4 to 1. Then a bit of a leap up to 15 to 2 for Al Rufa. Escobar also 15 to 2. And it's 11 to 1 Persuasion. And bigger the rest. So, Smido, where are you looking in this one?
Well, Clive Cox has got the top 2 in the betting. 3-year-old Aratus, 4-year-old Dance Fever. The stable jockey Adam Kirby does ride Dance Fever, but don't read too much into that because he can't do 8 stone 7 for Aratus. So yeah, I wouldn't be reading too much into that. Al Rufa returns after nearly a year off, has been gelded, bred to be very good. But he has got to prove it on the track, and he's got a rating of 102, which is quite a lot more than a lot of his rivals in this race. Escobar often runs well here. Similar can be said about Kimifive. So yeah, there's a couple of decent yardsticks in there, but it's Aratus who I'm with, Pieman. My second favourite in 2 selections. I'm in dangerous territory. He's £4 higher for his most recent win. That was on his handicap debut. Travelled really quite strongly at Newbury. Almost hit the front too early. Like, he was travelling that well. He was carried to the front. Adam Kirby did ride that day. He put the race to bed in a few strides when asked to do so. He was eased down at the line. He has a little bit of a temperament, so he does need to keep a lid on it. He's pulled in one of his earlier races. He was reluctant to load, I think, in one of his early races. So keep an eye on him. If he behaves at the start, he's drawn in 2. I would like to see him behave at the start, get out, sit second or third, travel strongly, and go clear late on. That's how I can see it going. And he's 9-4 ish. I think you can possibly get 5-2 general. I'd be with Aratus.
Aratus for Smido, then another fav. I'm going to let you off with this because you don't often just like put a load of favs up, and possibly multiple territory. Do you think this week for you?
Yes, there will be doubles and trebles put up this week, as per the name of the channel.
That's what the people are here to see. SD, I think you might make a case against this fav.
I wouldn't be desperately against him. I just think he's a rotten price, and I think there's any number of possible winners of this. So, look, I backed Kimifive earlier in the week at 20-1, and I think that's a fair bet. Kimifive was formerly trained by I think it was Joseph Tuitt, but yes, it was Joseph Tuitt. Thank God for that. Now he's gone to David Bridgewater, who's much more better known for the giant bolster and riding Encore on Per to be second in the 1996 Grand National. But that said, a change of scenery might just do this thing a bit of good. Now, he's ridden by the best thing to come out of Scotland since the M74 in Nicola Curry. She's won twice on him. He's only won 3 times in his career, and he does like Goodwood. So there's a lot going for him, and he traditionally, if you look at what he trades at in running, he trades a lot shorter. He's traded at 2-1 or shorter a lot of times when he's run at Goodwood. So Kimifive for me would be the bet. There's any number of winners of the race. That's why I thought Aratus was a bit short. Persuasion had have a chance on his head-up form. This Al Roofer of Johnny G's could be absolutely anything, and there's a few others in there, but at 12-1, yes, I'm happy backing Kimifive rather than being a boring sodden tipping the favourite up.
Andy Humphrey makes a point. Al Roofer in the chat has gone for a bit of money, and doesn't mind a funkier track in his words, but yeah, it certainly looks an interesting affair, and it's Kimifive for SD and Aratus the fav for Smido. So we'll move it on, and we are hopping across to Newmarket, our first visit to Newmarket for the July course for the Close Brothers Hopeful Stakes. I'll just load the market up in front of me, but Smido, I'm guessing you have quite a strong opinion on this one.
Yes, I do like it. Listed event over 6 furlongs, Pieman. Tabdeed, how Tabdeed has managed not to win on his last start was some effort, really. He's finished a neck third. He went long odds on him running. I'm not talking from my pocket. It's just a race he should have won. He was up with the pace for most of that race, and they got collared late on by Summer Romance, who was a bit of an outsider that day. But yeah, I think he's a stonking bet here. He's the bet of the weekend. Tabdeed at 9-4. I think is he that price now? 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, 2-1.
Yeah, he's coming a little bit. 2-1. I think he's the bet of the weekend.
I'll give you a quick run down the market. Sorry to put in, but while I'm here, 2-1 Tabdeed, 11-2 Royal Crusade, Summergand is 13-2, Kadim is 9, along with Royal Scimitar. There's actually 10 in a place for that one. Chief of Chiefs 11, Mum's Tipple 12s, and it's 20s bar. So go on, Tabdeed, the bet of the week for you, yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a few reasons for it. He was fought good enough to go off 9-1 in the Sprint Cup last year. Got no way near winning it. I think he was last, but that's just a sign of where he was at about a year ago. That was a Group 1. It's clearly been tricky to get fit and keep fit in his career. He don't very often run more than 2 or 3 times in the space of 2 or 3 months. But his 2 most recent runs have been pretty good. I've mentioned the last one at Newbury without actually winning. I think he's been pretty good. Good to firm ground, fine. He's the highest rated horse in this race. I think he should be winning this. Hopefully he'll be fine. The only negative I could find, Pieman, was that this is his first try on what I would call an undulating track, and the July course very much fits that description. So if he's all right on the track, I think he should be winning. Royal Crusade, second favourite. I think that's daft. A horse that I put up on the channel on his penultimate start. Showed very little that day, showed very little the next time. I don't know why he's that price in the market. He's done naff all on his two UK starts this year. Summergand carries at least £5 more than anyone else. I think Summergand actually is carrying a double penalty. Berkey in the chat might confirm that. This is a listed race and he has won at that level in the last year or so. So yeah, he's going to have to put in a monster performance to win this, giving weight away all round. Mum's Tipple can't decide his best trip. Carries a £3 penalty himself. Will probably be SD's pick. Royal Scimitar and the rest should be running in handicaps. I just think this is a race that Tabdeed should be winning.
Tabdeed, quite a convincing case made again. A third favourite on the bounce. SD, what are your thoughts on this one?
Not Tabdeed. Look, he's bottled the last two times. I'm not majorly in love with the horse. I'm certainly not majorly in love with the trainer. He was a great jump jockey for Martin Pipe in bumpers in about 96 and 97. He was mustard in a bumper. But anyway, we digress. Look, Royal Scimitar, it's a bit unfair of Smith to be saying this thing should be running in handicaps. He was unlucky last time. He's certainly unlucky the time before.
I backed him the time before at 40 to 1. And he was unlucky last time, but he's rated 97. This horse should be running in handicaps. He's better than 97. He should be racing in handicaps.
Well, why would you? Yeah, it's a serious question. This Royal Scimitar, I don't think it'll blow his mark for the Air Gold Cup, which is probably why he's running. But he was behind a subsequent. Black Rod went in and wazzed in at York on Saturday. I don't see why you would run him if you didn't want to blow his mark. He's not running for the fresh air. I thought as well. I'm going to put two up in this. I bolstered up anti-post because I thought it would cut up more. I thought Kadeem at 6 to 1 was a very fair price with the blinkers on, with Charlie Hills' horses running very, very well. Now, don't forget, Kadeem ran very well in the July Cup of 2020. He was 4th in the July Cup last year. A reproduction of that would see him win this fairly easily. I don't mind the jockey booking. And I thought it was interesting Shabwell ran 2 rather than 1. I didn't think Kadeem would run. He is doing, and he's worthy of support as well. I'll lay you £40 to 90 Tabdeed if you want it. £40 minimum.
Yeah, Sam, put me 80 on. Yeah, no worries. Yeah.
Are we on for a deal with 80?
No, bugger off.
Right, okay.
We'll sort that out privately, SD. I'm happy to, I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is privately, But yeah, Tabdeed will win that race. So you're putting up 2, are you, SD? You're putting Royal Scimitar up, who's a handicapper, and you're putting Kadeem up. Kadeem, I can take Kadeem. Yeah, no problem. I can take that as a selection. I can't have Royal Scimitar in this race.
Okay. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but Royal Scimitar to place would be the same price as Tabdeed to win, 5th odds at 10s. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully we're all cheering, 3 selections for you to go out there. Would be nice to hear your opinions in the chat on that one that has polarised opinion on the panel. Stephen Burke said Summergan won a Group 3. And then Lee Jones is talking about the weights at air. So I'm sure we can come on to that kind of thing in due course. But I'm gonna flip us on to the next race then. Where are we off to next? Let me just find my list. Do keep your selections coming in the chat as well if you've got any fancies for the Saturday racing. I'm going to hop back over to Goodwood for the Tote sponsored March Stakes, which is a Group 3. How many runners have we got left in this one? Because it was 8 when I looked, but I think it's cut up
5
a bit since then. Yeah. So it is 5. Who wants to take this one first, Smido? I know you've had a good look at Goodwood.
I'll make it quick.
I'll just run you. I'll run you through the market quickly because there is only the 5 runners. Nagano is an even money favourite. Dancing King 7 to 2. Classic Lord 6 to 1, along with Juan de Montaliban. Tailban. Maybe not Taliban. Taliban's a bit topical, isn't it?
Yeah. It's probably not Taliban.
Yeah, we'll go with Tailban. And then White Pepper 22 to 1, outsider of the field. Go on then.
It'll be a no bet for me, Pieman. It's a 3-year-old only race over 1 mile 6. There ain't many of these in the calendar, the Saint Ledger being one of them. But yeah, there's not many at this level over this distance for this age of horse. I can't see what I will say is my comment is I can't see why there is such a significant gap at the top of the market. Nagano's even money rated 101. Dancing Kings 7-2, rated 100, and Classic Lord is 11-2, rated 100. I don't really get it. No, not Classic Lord, sorry. Wandy Taliban, who you've said, is also rated 100. So there's 3 horses rated 100, 100, and 101, and the even money 3-1 and 6-1. Don't get it. Maybe SD can shed some light.
SD, can you shed some light?
I can, and for the reasons you've just given, it's a betting race. Look, Varian's got a terrible record this year in group races. We've alluded to this previously. I think, is this a group 3? Isn't it? Yeah, so it's a group 3. So there's a negative for you. This favourite, look, I am not for 1 second saying this can't win, but he'll probably trade bigger in running. He's a bit of a monkey. He certainly races off the bridle. And if I was compiling the race, yes, I'd probably have him just about favourite. But don't forget he won in a slop at Goodwood last time, and it's going to be lightning quick. It's a completely different scenario. And the Johnston horse, whose name I've forgotten, should be winning this. Well, I'm not saying he should be winning it, but Dancing King should be a damn sight closer in the betting than he is. And all betting is, what people forget is, all betting is a game of percentages. So you go to the bookies, you're saying, I think there's a 50% chance Nagano will win. Well, I don't think that at all. I think there's probably, I don't know, I'd have him 7-4. So what's that? 36, 37%, something along those lines. So you're instantly in your favour there. And yeah, Dancing King's the bet, in short. The other one of O'Meara's, it's probably a false rating because he ran in some provincial race somewhere in what was a NAF race, and I think he won off the mid-80s before that. So I can see why that's possibly a false rating, but Dancing King's solid enough at the prices. And that's all we're trying to do, make money in the long run.
Yeah, play the percentages. That's the way to do it in the long run. We have had a couple of comments on Nagano. Brendan Smith says Nagano all day, and Lee Jones actually thinks Nagano might prove to be different class. May well be. I don't think either of the panel is saying that it can't go on and do that more that at the price. You would rather be a layer than a backer, I think, is the vibe I'm getting.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, we're going to shoot back over to Beverley, where Mr. Derbyshire will be gracing this weekend with his presence. And it's the 3:15, the Beverley Bullet, which I believe is the feature race, and a nice big field to get stuck into. SD, talk us through this one, please.
First running 2004. Chucky Heaton was the dual winner. Trained by the great Ian Semple. I don't know if anyone remembers him. It's a pretty good renewal, and it isn't a bad betting race this year because there's certainly holes in some of those at the top of the market. Now, Hurricane Ivor and Dakota Gold are basically drawn near the golf course, which means they've got to run further, and it's a big disadvantage at Beverley. It's a huge disadvantage. Whereby Judicial, who won the race a couple of years ago, is nicely berthed in 5. Look, I'd have been all over Hurricane Ivor from a lower draw. I thought he ran a smashing race at York last week. I'm already into the jumps. We're only in August.
You haven't raced on the flat at Warwick for a while.
No, I've been. Don't worry. But seriously, I thought Hurricane Ivor was probably more of a Portland horse or something like that. I know Richard Hoyles, the most boring man on ITV, put him up last week and said he was an eye catcher, but he was, and it's a pity he's not drawn a bit lower. I think Judicial will probably win this. There's cases to be made for the rest, but on the form book and on official ratings, they've got a lot to find with Judicial. And I realise Judicial's got this penalty, but Dakota Gold, needs it soft. It's certainly not going to be soft, is it? Tis Marvellous is better at Ascot. Lampang is more overrated than Celine Dion. And significantly, it's quite a bit to find at the weight. So I'd be with Judicial, and I think it's a fair bet.
Judicial fav in the current market, but 4-1, a juicy enough price about it, and a bit ahead on the ratings according to SD. Smido, how do you feel about that? And have you got a strong opinion on the race?
Well, I've got a strong connection to the race, Pieman, formerly sponsored by my former employers, and a race where I've presented the prize to the winner on at least 3 occasions. I think I'm just looking back now. Pearl Secret, ridden by my friend Jamie Spencer. He also won it the year after on Marek, probably the best ever winner of this race. And then in 2016, Alpha Delfini won it, and I presented that prize as well. So, yeah, a good connection to this race. You do need to be drawn low, as SD says. Judicial, solid. But what we've got in this race is, well, Judicial's more than solid, actually. Three wins and a third from 4 tries at Beverley, including this race in 2019. That is solid as you like at 4-1. Will definitely have his fans. He was back to close to his best last time, Judicial at Chester, winning a listed race, carries a £3 penalty for that. That may inconvenience him. Like I say, he's getting on now. He's a 9-year-old. It's 11 years since a 3-year-old won this, but 3 of those are giving it a try this year, and significantly is one of them, and that's who I've landed on. She's the selection at 15-2. I quite like the chances of significantly drawn 3, which is about where you need to be. It is a bit of a risk because she does play up at the start. She's refused to. She was hard to load a couple of times. Missed a break pretty badly on her most recent start. Dwelt really badly at the start. Won't want to be doing that here. Definitely can't do that here. So that is built into the price, and there is some risk. But earlier in the season, significantly, second behind Creative Force, a Group 2 winner. Second behind Dragon Symbol, who was first past the post in a Group 1 at Royal Ascot. That was in April and May. A Royal Ascot winner herself significantly in June. Backed up when winning at the same track about a month later, and then missed a break on a most recent start. I mean, like I say, she can't do that again here, but I think she could get out, lead the whole way, and not be seen again. And Carl Burke is flying. He is absolutely flying. He's 25% on his last 2 weeks. He's going really well, that yard. And I think significantly is a bit of a unknown quantity against her elder rivals. She has got a bit to find, as SD has rightly pointed out, but as Hump will support in the chat, she gets the age allowance and she gets the sex allowance. Significantly will be the one for me.
Is the Pieman there?
Pieman's, Pieman.
Sorry, I'm just talking to myself there. I've muted myself to give you the floor there. A decent case made there. Steve did mention that he thought that one had a bit to do with the weights, but nice to have some split opinions on this one. We've had a couple in the chat that I'm just going to put to you, gentlemen, so whoever wants to take these. Paul Harris joins us. It's nice to have you in, Paul. He says, evening, gentlemen. What do you think of Dakota Gold? Any thoughts on Dakota Gold, please?
Well, they better hope they water it and absolutely douse the track in water, because it needs a bit of cut.
Needs a bit of cut.
Drawn 10, but I mean, a standing dish in these sorts of races, and was only 2 lengths behind Judicial in that listed race when Judicial last run in August. So I mean, you need a bit of luck in these. He hasn't had much luck with the draw in 10. And neither has Hurricane either, and that's built into the price of both of those. I would suggest.
Just a word on Dakota Gold. I think it's true. It's never won round a bend, so you could almost write off Chester last time, can't you? But no, I think very much a softer ground horse. There's a race from at York on early October. He'll win that. There you go.
There you go, Paul. You can't ask for any more than that, can you? You've got his next win in the book now. 2 people, Brendan Smith and Stephen Burke, have asked me about Ostilio. Looks a big price outsider of the field at 50-1. Any thoughts on that one, gents?
He was a very good horse, wasn't he? I think Varian traded him.
Yeah,
my thoughts would be, look, they're trying the thing at 5 furlongs. I don't think he's quick enough, but I suspect Mr. Midgley is lining up a race somewhere. He got well back for the Stewards' Cup. I suspect he's lining a race somewhere up for him, and he might come down a couple of pounds in the weights. I don't know. Again, there's that 6 furlong handicap. I think it's called a Coral Sprint Trophy. Watch out for him in that. But I can't see him winning this.
Go on.
He was well back for the Stewards' Cup. SD. He opened at 33 and went off at 50.
No, he was. Hold on, he was well backed anti-Poe. There was a move at some point Thursday into Friday. Somebody in the chat will tell you.
Right. Well,
he was as short as 16 the night before because some wisecrack tipped him up.
Yeah, well, I'm the wisecrack round here. He opened 33 and went off 50-1 on the day. So
the chat will support. Come on, boys.
I think the chat. I think the chat will support you. I would say my gut instinct tells me the chat will support you, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to go through the whole field, but one more that's been mentioned, and I've got to give a mention to it because I enjoyed the comment. Andrew Humphrey says, thoughts on the chances of wise words, not something we get very much listening to this podcast.
I've actually backed Wise Words this year for James Tate. I think it ran in a listed race at Bath or something like that earlier in the season. I think she's been to Haydock, Chelmsford. Not showed enough this season, really, but you never know in these races at Beverley.
Okay, I'm going to move on from the bullet, but I want to just put one to SD. I see your friends at Slybet, as you dab them, are doing 5 places. I know you fancy the favourite here, but is there any each-way value at a working man's price that you would point people in?
I mean, I don't know. Let's have a quick look. I don't know. Maybe just another bottle or something like that. But it's not a race I would approach from an each way angle. But 5 places makes it. I dare say makes it a little bit more appealing. Just another bottle. Just a word on that really quickly. The blinkers absolutely lit this thing up last time at Ripon. He won doing absolute handstands. It's out of 1. If it gets a good start, it could well run above itself again. But if they work a second time, that is. So maybe just another bottle.
Okay. Lee Jones says there was a move anti-post. So there you go, backed up in the chat as you predicted there, SD.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, like I say, a shrewd move, backing a horse anti-post for an handicap at 25, and it going off at 50, shrewd, very shrewd.
Right, enough of that. Going to move it on. Last race that we're going to go through in detail. We do, of course, have to go around the UK with SD. I presume he'll have some gems for us up his sleeve. But
there's some absolute gems.
There we go. There we go. Right. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Right. Yeah, it's a lively bank holiday weekend, definitely. But right. Goodwood is the last one that we're going to look at in depth, and it's the Celebration Mile, again sponsored by Tote. Great to see the Tote sponsorship. And I'll just run you through the market for this one, and then I'm going to give it to Smido first, I think. I've got Ben Battle in there as 11-4 Fav. Chindit is 7-2. Mustabek is 4-1. Then a jump up to 8-1 for Perotto. Happy Power is 12s, as is Duke of Hazzard, and it's 16-1 Bar. Smido, take it away.
Yeah, Ben Battle, Globetrotter, has been off 337 days. He's a 7-year-old now, but that kind of break hasn't bothered him before. In fact, his best ever UK performance was off a 335-day break. But he is the type of favourite I would take on, given the break, given the age, etc. But do shout out to his trainer, Saeed bin Saror. Very much the second choice Godolphin trainer nowadays, but he's well over 40% win and place with all of his 163 runners this season. I think he's 21% win. That's some going for someone who doesn't get the firepower that his next door neighbour Charlie Appleby does. So fair play to him. But yeah, Ben Battle's about the 5-2 shot. But it's Chindit, the one I like. Another at a pretty short price for my standards. Chindit 7-2. I've not been with Chindit this year. I was a little bit last year, but I've not been with him this year. But he has been running to a good level. If you look back at his form, his last 3 starts have all been in Group 1. He isn't quite up to that level, but he's ran with credit in all of them, I think, to be fair. He was 5th in the Guineas. He was passing beaten horses late on, don't get me wrong, but he was on the wrong side of the track. Poetic Flares backed that form up many, many times over. He was 5th again next time in the very hot St James's Palace Stakes. Didn't get the clearest of runs that day. I'm not saying he would have won or troubled the winner, but he would have been a little bit closer than 5 lengths at Royal Ascot. That's a creditable effort. And then he's ran on RPR ratings, on Racing Post ratings, he's ran a career best in the French Jacques Lemarrois last time, behind proven Group 1 horses, the likes of Palace Pio, Poetic Flair, etc. So he's been doing it. He's been running to a good standard without really threatening the judge or threatening the placers. I think the easier mile at Goodwood will suit him. And I think this is a definite drop in class. It's a soft Group 2, this is. Away from Ben Battle, who we don't know, I'll be questioning his age and his fitness. Away from Ben Battle, I think this is a soft Group 2. I don't think Mutasabek's that. I think Chindit's definitely better than everyone else in this race, except for Ben Battle. He just might be better than Ben Battle, and that's what we're gambling on. I think he's definitely better than Mutasabek. Perotto was a handicapper not so long ago. Duke of Hazzard is still a handicapper in my mind. Stormy Antarctic isn't going to run. Lavender's Blue needs to improve about a stone to win this race. So Chindit is going to be the selection pie man. 7-2, another short one for me.
Yep, Chindit 7-2 on the nose. SD, how are you looking at this race? I mean, is there any each way value?
I think there is. Now, there's Hills and Slybet paying 4 places, and in a 9-runner race, that's a bit of a gimme.
It'll be 8. It'll be 8 by the time Stormy Antarctic.
Well, it will. Well, Stormy Antarctic won't run, and why they've declared the thing, I don't know. But hopefully there won't be a Rule 4 because it's 16, I think. Yeah. Now, you've just called Duke of Hazzard a handicapper. How on earth? I'll put it back to you. How on earth is Duke of Hazzard a handicapper when he's never won a handicap in his life? He's won.
I was maybe a bit hasty with that.
He's won 2 group races around Goodwood and the 2 listed and a maiden. His record at the track is 3 from 5, and he's won the race before. So he isn't a handicapper. He's a fast ground horse who loves Goodwood. I have to say, why Mr. Cole ran him last week, I don't know. He's probably run a little bit too much recently, but it's built into the price. So I'm happy to go with him, and I'll put another one up because they're going 4 places. And this was a race I wanted to bet in because Ben Battle runs less than me, and that really isn't possible usually. But I thought Pogo's very similar. Wants fast ground, and he's very classy on his day. I mean, he was in front of Furlong Out in the Queen Anne, which wasn't a bad effort. And Charlie Hills is in very good form at the moment, operating far and above what he would normally do. So I would take those two against the fields. I think Perotto's a perfectly good chance. I'd be against Muta Sarbek. I wasn't really that impressed with him at York, and unfortunately Assad led us down last week. He was second to him, so that form's no good. And there's very little substance to his form. Just a word on Chindit. He gets going a little bit too late for me. I can see them. It'll probably be Beer Belly Mark Johnson calling them home on Saturday, and he'll be going, it's run into all sorts of traffic problems, and here comes Chindit, and he'll not quite get up. So there we go.
There you go, getting a race breakdown as well. But was it Pogo your other selection there? Dukes of Hazzard and Pogo. Correct, yeah?
Pogo, yeah.
There's your each way value then, and if you're taking the 4 places, you can get 11-1 about Duke of Hazzard and 16-1 about Pogo. So definitely an interesting route into the race, and it's Chindit for 7-2 for Smido. So that does kind of round up the races we're going to be looking at in detail. At this point, it feels only right to hand over to Mr. Stephen Derbyshire, who's going to take you around the rest of the UK for some fantastic bank holiday weekend action, and hopefully
isn't it beautiful? In fact, I'm going to put one up anti-post, okay?
Yeah.
First.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we all right with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Go for it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Whoa, no swearing. Whoa, no swearing.
It's a family show.
Well, that's the first time in a year that there's been any swearing on here. We get a YouTube violation.
I don't know about a year. Well, I never tick. No, he's here. He's still there. He's muted and he's looking through the form, which can only be a good sign for the viewers. But yeah, I mean, this could be potentially the bit of the show worth watching, because I mean, I'm not sure how many people have delved into this action.
Well,
in any detail so far.
He only staked 17 points last week, Pieman, and now we've gone through most of the card at Goodwood. He's now going to be going to Cartmel. He's got anti-post action. Is he still there or what?
Well, he's still in the call, but he is on mute. I'm gonna, against my better judgment, I may unmute him without any warning. I'll tell you what. I'll give SD a second there.
Oh, I'm back.
He's back.
Don't worry.
I was panicking there. I was panicking.
Mrs. SD didn't put anything in the meter, as you can tell. I live in darkness. Right, are we ready to go around the country before this fades again?
Yeah,
go on.
Do it.
Right, okay. No other bets at Goodwood or Newmarket or Beverley, but let's go to Cartmill. It's a lovely place, and there's a great 3-runner race, gentlemen. Now, I was at Perth when On the Other Foot ran last time, and it ran like it just ran absolutely terrible. Hills have priced this up. I wouldn't have it anywhere near 8-11. I thought Rooster Cogburn in that. So that's a 4 o'clock at Cartmel, gentlemen. So are you all excited for that 3-runner race?
I am now, yeah.
Yeah, I'm buzzing.
What kind of
now,
what kind of price are we looking at for that at the moment?
Well, it's 5-2 in a 3-runner race, so we can't say more than that. And our old friends of the channel will remember this horse. Elixir is running in the 4:35. Now, Elixir, it's never won. It's I think we're up to 0 from 26 now, but he always trades a lot shorter in running. So back Elixir.
Yeah.
In that.
Not from 25 was that one, yeah?
Yeah, but trade out at 2-1 or less in running, and you'll get it back. There's another one in the race who interested me. So Satisfied, who's 11-1 for Ian Jardine. He's becoming very, very fairly handicapped. He cracked one at Cartmel when he was last there, but he was running a good race. He's down to a rating of 72. This is a jumps rating of 72, so he's not the best animal in the world, but he should run well. The fact that a horse like Ardira Cross is 7-2 tells you all you need to know about a race like this. Let's move on to Windsor. Where
Windsor
they've got
next,
where they've got a fairly good card. Look, Tiona should be better than these. She was well fancied for the Oaks, so we're at the 6 o'clock at Windsor. Yeah, it's a listed race. She was third in the Dante. You know, she was only 4 lengths behind Snowfall, which looks so much better now. I think she's a hell of a chance, and I'd be surprised if she goes off at 9-4. So I would take that, and then we've got
it's a good job that's only a listed race, FD, because you have already highlighted.
It is a listed race.
Roger Varian's, record in group races this year. So that is a Roger Varian train favourite at 9-4.
And we'll go to the Winter Hill now. Trainers moan on about there being not enough opportunity. There's 4 runners in a group 3, for goodness sake. Fancy Man's better on soft ground around Haydock. Bangkok's lumber with a penalty, and Arovian shouldn't be good enough. Look, I thought 15-8 for Solid Stone is a very solid horse. Is fair enough. I mean, he was behind Real World last time, and I think he'll win that. And then we're going to go to Royal Redcar, great track run by the great John Sanderson, who's I think 81 or 82. Now, 6:10 at Redcar. You've got a horse there which is favourite, officially rated 95. I don't think it's ever won anything above 88 in Scottish Summit. That's 11-4. Now, against it is a horse called Irish Admiral, with the lad taking 5 off. Now, Irish Admiral looked the dog's Watsits earlier in the year, and everyone thought it would win the Hunt Cup. Things haven't gone right since, but if it can't win a race at Redcar with the lad taking 5 off of a rating of 93, there really is something wrong. Ran so well first time up at York, and I thought 100-30. I cannot see how this horse doesn't go off a strong favourite. He really should be winning this.
What time is that one?
6:10 at Royal Redcar.
6:10. Thanks very much.
Brendan will be on that. Brendan will definitely be on that.
You've got to back it, surely to God. I mean, Scottish Summit, a favourite against it's a horse of something like Irish Admiral. I think it's a stonking bet. There you go.
That's a nice evening double for you there, Pieman. 6:10 Redcar, 100-30, 6:30 Windsor.
You've got the 6 p.m. Windsor 9-4 if you want a treble or a Trixie.
Yeah. Let's have a lovely evening out across the country.
Lovely.
So they're all the selections.
There you go. I think there's 6 there for you. We'll try and drop them all in the description after for anyone who's watching this.
I have to write these things down. I hope you're there with a pen, and then I don't have to do that. I go to bed. Thank God Love Island's not on, but
yeah, I've took down what I can, but I feel like you'll do it more justice.
Yeah, you need to email me as normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's about it. I'm just going to have a quick look in the chat. Andrew Humphrey described it as a summer jump spectacular. And Brendan Smith confirmed that he is all over it, as you predicted there, Smido. So, yeah. Always popular, these. And I must say that I've got the graph in front of me of live viewers, and we do really hold the viewership when SD starts going around the country. So people do not leave early when
I've got another one. I've another one.
Go on.
But it's anti-post.
The floor is yours. Yeah, go for it.
You've got a back. It's a Sprint Cup next week. And it's a great race, the Sprint Cup. First one by B Friendly.
Yeah, it's been run on soft or heavy ground 4 of the last 8 renewals or something like that.
Okay, we've got a dry forecast. It's good to soft at the moment. It will be good or good to firm. I cannot see Starman going off anywhere near 3-1. He'll be 6-4 on the day, and he'll win. So back Starman now. That's my advice. 3-1 he is.
There you go.
So that's ahead of next week. So you can put that in.
Look, right. Starman could well go off, could well fit the bill of exactly what SD has said. But we're dealing with Haydock, which unfortunately for Haydock, lovely track, my local, SD's local. It's got a terrible, terrible, unlucky record with bad weather.
Well, we have a long-term weather forecast. I've looked at about 5 today, and there's no rain at all. So pile in, lads. I wouldn't normally say back one at 3-1 Antipodes, but I think Starman will win the Sprint Cup, and it's a surprise forecast. He's much better than the rest of them, isn't he? So that's where I'll be playing.
It's all about the price, and I think you made a decent enough case for where you think it's going to be and where it is currently. So Andrew Humphrey asks if you have any spare tickets.
I think the response ends in off, given that he was last sighted at a racecourse when Desert Orchid ran.
Well, on that note, I think I'll wrap it up. So, gents, if there's nothing more for you both to add,
we will just have a very quick rant. Actually, so we've had numerous members of the travelling press in the racing community telling people how to get interested in racing. I have never met a bigger set of condescending twits. Let's just be very clear on these. These are all part of the gravy train who went racing and told us how good it was to watch ITV while all of us were stuck at home. If you want an opinion on how to run a racecourse, ask the people who go racing every week. Fergal O'Brien tweeted that the people who are being asked at the moment pay to get into racecourses. Don't pay to get into racecourses. We know the people. I'll name them. The Lee Mottershead, Maddie Pale, Josh Apalafi. There's any number of them. Chris Cook, to an extent, who's now working for the Racing Post. Mick Fitzgerald, who one day was at Newbury and the next was at Hexham during lockdown. You know, really. Sky Sports sent 3 presenters to Plumpton on Sussex National Day. It was an absolute monumental kick in the face for dyed-in-the-wool racegoers. And frankly, these people need to keep their opinions to themselves. So there we go.
Well, I wasn't sure where you were going to go when you said we're going to have a quick rant, but I actually must say that was very well structured, very impassioned, and I couldn't really pick a hole in what you said there. So it's nice to see people using this platform for some good, and hopefully someone relevant is listening. I do have my doubts.
Punters just give it. People who go racing just give their opinion. Not these people who think that, you know, we should go into the middle of London and get people racing. These people will never be on a race course in their lives because they're not interested. Just get over yourselves. You've got a job in racing. You're on the gravy train, but shut up, is what I'm saying.
You're on the gravy train, now shut up. That seems like a nice place for me to shut up and for both.
Yes, I'll shut up.
So, yeah, no, I enjoyed that. And I always enjoyed the show. Thanks for sticking with us through the early technical problems. A quick reset of the software seemed to solve that one. So hopefully next week we'll be straight on and firing. If you did enjoy the show, do give us a little thumbs up and a like. Comment with what you're backing. And we'd love to hear if you're successful or not on Saturday. I'm actually in Plymouth this weekend, but no Newton Abbott action for me to dive up to, unfortunately. So... yeah, I've got a nice little weekend planned. SD is in Yorkshire for some racing. Smido, will you be doing anything of interest?
I'm doing some racing, but it's the one with 4 wheels rather than 4 feet or 4 legs. So, yeah.
Expanding
in the Skoda? In the Skoda? You're taking the Skoda around the track?
No, I don't think it'll make it around the track. It might not make it to the track.
Well, exactly.
Thanks for your input. Thank you.
Thanks for both of your inputs. It's been a pleasure as always. And thanks to all of you in the chat, Brendan, Andy, Steve, and everyone really. Lee, I won't list you all. Appreciate you viewing, and we'll be back again same time next week. Hopefully, all being well, with no technical difficulties to look through the following weekend's racing. Go well, good luck, and we'll see you again very soon.
Bye bye.